lengthy day one investigation has uncovered perhaps the tobacco industry's last best secret, how it artificially adds nicotine to cigarettes.
They put nicotine in the form of tobacco extract into a product to keep the consumer happy.
A multi-billion-dollar drug ring is what the U.S. tobacco industry represents today in this country.
Some of today's cigarettes may in fact qualify as high-technology nicotine delivery systems that deliver nicotine in quantities sufficient to create and to sustain addiction in the vast majority of individuals who smoke regularly.
Under threat of subpoena, the heads of America's 7 largest tobacco companies made an unprecedented 5-hour appearance before Congress. The tone was nasty and unrelenting. Politicians went straight for the jugular.
I just can't understand how each of you is engaged in an enterprise that is sure to kill.
One of the most important tobacco whistleblowers ever to come forward is Victor DeNoble, a former scientist at Philip Morris.
It's unfathomable what has been held back from the American public.
And then there are these documents, thousands of pages of confidential scientific reports and legal memoranda from B&W's secret files, which experts say support Dr. Wygand's claim that Brown and Williamson's executives have had strong reason to believe all along that nicotine is addictive.
It's about an industry whose products kill 419,000 Americans every year.
We know they're not above targeting kids. You can figure out how old the people are that that's aimed at.
So let's call this what it really is, a pediatric disease.
Taxpayers shouldn't pay for the cost of lung cancer, emphysema, and other smoking-related illnesses. The tobacco companies should. So tonight I announce that the Justice Department is preparing a litigation plan to take the tobacco companies to court.
As the first state to sue Big Tobacco, it was only fitting today that Mississippi become the first to get paid.
$11 billion to the state of Florida to pay for smokers made sick by cigarettes.
Texas Attorney General Dan Morales presented his settlement with tobacco giants with triumph.
Minnesota becomes the 4th state to settle with the tobacco industry over the costs of smoking-related illnesses.
Good evening. Remember the date, the 20th of June, 1997. It was on this day that the attorneys general of more than 40 states said in Washington that they had finally beaten the tobacco industry into submission.
We had to punish this industry in such a way that everybody in this country and everybody in this world would recognize that they had paid a higher price than any other corporation in history.
People say, why are you all going to settle? I think time's not on your side. I think you're going to go bankrupt.
A group of Florida smokers is making history with the first ever consumer class action suit against the tobacco industry. The plaintiffs are seeking $200 billion in damages.
The Attorney Generals have now before them a tobacco settlement proposal that would provide the states with $206 billion through the year 2025, the largest financial recovery in the history of the world.
If we're willing to look at the hard question, if we're willing to stand up and look it squarely in the eye and admit that cigarettes really are a drug delivery device, and if you say it's a drug, it's a very, very big first step. I applaud you on that.
Steve wasn't with me when we started. Who would have ever thought that, you know, the biggest push for FDA regulation right now would be Philip Morris? So a lot's changed. Steve knows how much I really admire what you've done, and the commitment and the sincere commitment toward working toward FDA regulation. And I think that is paramount.